If you're running a gym or any business, there are 5 systems that you need to master, which include mindset, delivery, ascension, conversion, and attraction. And most gym owners, they get this wrong. Today, I'm sitting down with Randy Angsten, co-host of the Built to Grow podcast, the Iron Circle, and the Growth Summit with Tim Lyons. We break down the power of a unique mechanism and why your business must have one. And the hard truth about giving things away for free is killing your success. This is the kind of conversation that forces you to rethink everything you thought you knew about growth. Let's get into it. All right, man. Thanks for jumping on. I really appreciate you being here. We're gonna touch on a ton of stuff. So, first, as I just kind of go through this, I know people are kind of warming up to the idea of, who is Randy, who is Tim, who are these guys, and some of them that are listening, they already know who you are.
Sure.
Others are going, okay, so is this another agency? And you guys are completely not even that.
Correct. Yeah.
You guys do coaching, you guys do events, you guys, the big thing, and the reason why I love you guys so much is the fact that you guys focus on not just like, let's get some leads, let's just drive leads and drive traffic. You guys focus on the whole system. And I feel like that's kind of where a lot of things fall apart. When you look at some of these other groups that are out there, not that they're doing it wrong. I think it's just that maybe they're in their nascent stages. So they're kind of learning how, businesses really need to evolve. What are the things that you feel like are the immediate, like hot buttons, the gaps that gym owners face? Because you guys see this all the time. Like, what are the first things that you guys recognize?
Well, yeah, let me give you a little background on kind of what really clicked on our end that gave us that realization. So real quick touch on kind of our background as Profit. Tim and I started, we were an agency when we started. We were driving paid trials on behalf of gym owners. We were completing the sale online and turning over a paid trial client to them. This is back in 2015. Facebook we were some of the first to really utilize that ad platform. So it almost felt like stealing back then, right? Ad costs, lead costs. We were getting leads for under $2, and it was just insane back then. But if you fast forward about 3 years into us being that service for gyms, we've got gym owners. Tim, obviously, again, let me not assume, Tim has a gym here in Scottsdale. When we started Profit, he was still in the seat running his day-to-day operations. When we started the agency, one of the demands was that he didn't have the bandwidth to be driving the ship anymore in the gym. We started this other business, and it was taken off, obviously, because our industry needed that. So we kind of started exploding with Profit, and we didn't realize it, but we pulled Tim out of the gym day to day. And so what happened was, as we fast forwarded a couple of years into it, where I'm having conversations, I do every one of our introduction calls. I'm working with every one of our clients. We don't have a sales team. Everything comes through me or Tim. And so I'm talking to gym owner after gym owner, and 3 years deep, these guys are friends. These are people that, we care about. We've got great relationships with them. And I started asking the questions of, you've been using our services for 3 years. I've put 500, 600, 700 paid trials through your gym. What's your revenue like today? Where's the business at today? And so much of it came back to almost dollar for dollar, month over month, year over year, they're in the same boat. And so we're like, we had a hard kind of come into Jesus moment. We're like, we are the provide a man a fish. We're giving you the lead. But at the end of the day, retention is not there. The systems for growth that the business can rely on, instead of the owner having to do the manual work and the follow-ups and we use automation as a good portion of our follow-up process, things like that. And so we kind of pivoted. We said, you know what? We truly feel that the need for what gym owners actually need is not what they want, right? They want the leads because that's the natural, direction that businesses go when they need to increase revenue. But new leads aren't filling the holes in the business. It's not preventing people from walking out the door, in a few months. And when retention rates are 20, 30%, if you have a large group training gym right now, Orange Theory said that their retention is down to 3 months. So the need for new business is massive. But at the same time, how do we help keep people in the business? So we sat back, and Tim and I had our little meeting, and we said, in the same amount of time, these last 3 years, we grew Tim's revenue in his gym from probably about the 750,000 mark to over the over the $1 million number. But simultaneously, we pulled him away from the business. And we said, what are the systems that we have identified that we have implemented into, at the time his gym was Pulse Fitness, now rebranded to Legacy Personal Training. What are the systems that we implemented that allowed the revenue to continue to grow, but while pulling the work off of Tim as the owner? And we gravitate back towards Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrants, right? The purpose of business, and if you're not familiar with it, there's 4 quadrants: employee, most people, self-employed, business owner, and investor. And so we're looking at that kind of the progression of that. And most of our gym owners are in that self-employed role. And the goal is to get them into that business owner role. So this is where we identified systems. And so we put together 5 systems. The first of which is the mindset of the gym owner. I mean, if they're not in the position to understand what their role and responsibility should be, what areas of the business they should be pulling the levers or have control, or sometimes they just desire to. I mean, a lot of gym owners enjoy the marketing or want to have their hands in that type of stuff, or the sales component. By all means, you can work anywhere in your business, but you shouldn't have to. So after their mindset, we step into 4 systems of the business: delivery, ascension, conversion, and attraction. And so delivery is, the model that you're doing, your price points, your staff structure, your pay rate, frequency of billing, the type of training you're providing, the program design, everything that goes into actually servicing and delivering that product to the client. Ascension is, how do we systemize the ask to take somebody who's already in our business and move them up our value ladder into our higher price programs, while simultaneously they have an opportunity at a greater result. And those two have to happen simultaneously for it to be like a true value, a step up that value ladder. Then from there, we did conversion systems. Have to have a sales process, right? We are massive on SOPs. Everything has to be systemized and has to be duplicatable, for the next newest person. And then going back to the things that we create, not playing that traditional game of telephone. So many gym owners or so many businesses have like the newest guy training the new guy. And so obviously over time it muddies the water, and you fall away from who you are and the systems that you've created. And then attraction. Tim and I have spent mastermind after mastermind, course, program, coach. Marketing is one of our favorite areas of business. I love the psychology of marketing. And so we've worked with everyone from Todd Brown, incredible direct response marketer out of Florida, to Russell Brunson himself. I mean, we're currently part of his mastermind, actually. And so we're always trying to look at marketing, not just on what tactic or play I should be running, but rather what is the purpose of marketing as a whole. We've created programs like our Math of Marketing, where we help gym owners understand that if you're going to spend money in the marketplace, that you're getting a return, ideally in that first month, right? We're self-liquidating the ad cost through for the first month's acquisition. Now in our business, on average, a client stays 36 months. So the whole idea goes back to a concept from Bradley Sugars and buying customers, right? A customer to our business.
What do you mean stays 36 months?
So in Tim's business, in our gym, our average retention for a single client is 36 months. They stay with us for 3 years on average. And at a price point, so we do $99 a week, unlimited semi-private personal training. So clients worth quite a few.
That's double the industry average was, I think, a couple years ago. It was 18 months. Is the average. The average,
yeah. Yeah, we're data driven. So we love that type of stuff. We use a lot of the industry reports. Anywhere that I can help show there's opportunity. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, the law of averages is what it is. But at the same time, we're here to help show gym owners and show the industry that just because things have been done a certain way for so long doesn't mean that that's the only way that we have to do it.
So here's the conundrum. You've got groups like Orange Theory Fitness. You got BFF, You've got, you name it. There's another small group or semi-private. We'll get into the difference between those two here in a
Hmm.
second, but you've got all these variations. I even had Rick Mayo on the
Yeah,
show,
Rick's a good buddy of ours.
and they all have systems.
Hmm.
But when you break this down into your 5 different systems, I think one of the challenges that a lot of business owners face is they're kind of, a lot of them are kind of in that, to your point, they're in that quadrant of being self-employed, and they're going, how do I get out of this? Because it's a day-to-day grind, it's a struggle for them. And then they come in and they go, okay, I'm going to spend on a group like this, like Profit, and I'm going to go all in on it. They're always looking for a return on investment, and not a
Absolutely.
return on investment where it's like, I spend $1,000 or I spend $2,000 and I'll get that over the course of 12 months, right? Because that's how a lot of agencies
Yeah.
sell it. They're
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh, you'll get it in 12 months. Don't worry about it. Well, that doesn't work because you have people leave. Like Orange Theory, you got 3 months, right?
Yeah.
To your point.
Yeah.
So how can they rest assured that what you guys are doing brings them into this sense of comfort and really provides them what they need? Because you're talking about mindset, you're talking about sales.
Yeah.
Some of these people just aren't skilled in sales, and their
Absolutely.
mindset, they'll go off into a bad thought process, and sometimes they can't get themselves back out of it. But then you have these franchises that are selling franchise after franchise after franchise, guaranteeing that the whole reason why you buy a franchise is because of the system. And I see groups like Profit, because there's plenty of others out there, especially even in Arizona,
Oh yeah.
and they're coaching franchise companies, right? The franchisees themselves on how to implement a system. What's wrong with that picture?
Great. I love that question. I can tell you we've done some of that ourselves, for the fact that franchises start with like kind of the flash in the pan. If
Mhm.
you think of how a franchise gets off the ground, usually their pilot store, usually a couple locations, and then from there they've got some level of social proof. They feel good about what they do, and then they sell the idea to other gym owners.
Mhm.
But some of that has legs, and some of it is a belief, because if we're looking just from the model itself right now, one of the things that Tim and I kind of planted our flag on a while ago is semi-private being the best of both worlds, or the kind of a sweet spot for training from a gym, a client, and a coaching perspective. So first and foremost, I would say the model matters most. And it's very difficult when you're in the business and you're going down a path. We work with a lot of large group training style gyms that no matter what they're doing, they're pounding their head against the wall. They're jumping from agency and short term solution for new revenue, new clients from one to the next. But the problem is, when industry numbers and standards and the reports tell us 3 months is a long tenure now for a large group training client, you're never going to have the revenue coming in the business to be able to outspend the attrition, from a way that you're creating, you're in a glass ceiling situation. So because a large group training model, the price points are lower, the revenue per client per acquisition is much lower. It becomes a revolving door. And so the first thing I would say is, if you're in a model that the data is telling you this is what it's going to be, you have to have a real hard internal conversation, or conversation with yourself, your business partner, your spouse, whatever it may be, and decide, hey, do I want my cart attached to this horse any longer, or do I need to make a difficult short-term decision to pivot my model to give myself the opportunity that I truly want as a business owner, gym owner, to be able to create revenue goals that are much, much higher than industry averages. Um, and so I'd say that's one, is making sure that the model is in alignment with what you as a business owner want. I'll be the first to say, the second you put your name in a personal guarantee and you create a business, the purpose of that business is to turn profit. Now, we're in an industry where we do something that helps people. Every one of us, if we were to consider the actual benefit the people that we're helping walk away with, increasing the longevity. There's no price point that we would ever, realistically be paid that matches the ability for somebody to live longer. Disease prevention, or getting somebody off of their high blood pressure, their diabetes medications, or all of those types of things, right? So first and foremost, our entire industry is underpaid for what we provide. It just is, right? Because we also sell something nobody wants. Nobody wants hard work and
They
for
don't
them
want
to
to sweat. Yeah.
no. I want today immediate gratification, right? So we sell something that's difficult. We have to, there's a fine line between holding somebody accountable and they don't want you to hold them accountable. So it's a dance, but if you're in the wrong model, that is the first thing that I would say is look at what your true opportunity is. I mean, for me, we retro everything. So if my goal as a business owner is to have 200, let's start lower, $200,000 in income, personal income between maybe a salary and owner benefit, is that possible with the business that I'm in? What does that business look like? How many clients do I need? What is my average, monthly recurring from each client? Like, the math doesn't lie. So let's figure that out first. And if you're in a situation,
I want to stop you on that. I'm sorry.
Sure.
I got to stop you on
No,
this.
go. I appreciate it.
This is, I think, what happens with a lot of gyms is they get into this position where they're going, okay, I want to look at my model and see if small group or semi-private is the solution. And they start down that road. Then they add to it. Then they go, okay, well, we're going to do memberships and we're going to do group classes and we're going to do, another version of, we're going to do some cycling and we're going to do some other things, because they're looking at ways that they can add revenue. Because a lot of what they hear, okay, a lot of these podcasts, a lot of what, these coaches are talking about on Instagram. I'm talking about big coaches here. I'm talking about coaches that have, millions and millions of followers. And they'll tell them, hey, listen, just add more services.
Bolt this on. Yeah.
Yeah. Just add more products. Right. So all of a sudden in their head, it's like people, product and price, they're looking at those three things and they're going, okay, well, if I make more money, all I got to do is add more, products that I'm selling, and all of a sudden I'm making more money.
Yeah. Well, there's a problem
fit?
with that. Yeah. There's a problem with that. Right. So first and foremost, I'd say I always go back to keep the main thing, right? In Tim's gym math, we do $99 a week. It's about 428 on average per month. There's, again, for those listening, there's not 4 weeks in a month. There's 4.33 in the average month, right? This is the detail and the level of intention that's needed to drive a business. Personally, I love shaking up gym owners, because at the end of the day, if the second you put your name on that guarantee, you should have decided this isn't a hobby. This is a business. This is going to feed my family, my lifestyle, and treat it as such. And so, understanding and interpreting the data versus allowing yourself to be led by the emotional response that you have towards things, sometimes we got to let it go. You know what I mean? If you're on a sinking boat, there's no, like, lose the ego. It's okay to say, you know what, this isn't going to get me where I need to go. You reserve the right to change your mind. So the hardest part is deciding I'm going to do something different. But once you do make that decision, that's, to your point, you have to jump in, you have to go all in and embrace the change as if that is the only other way of getting out of that hole or getting into the position you want to be in. Now, with that being said, the difference between what we teach and what you said, a lot of other coaches and opportunities are out there in the industry, is I'm teaching you we want to teach you how to create a sustainable, driven, monthly recurring business every single month, not add $20,000 to your sales this month and then all of a sudden be back in the same position next month. And so whether it be a high ticket transformation package you're bolting in, there's, believe it or not, there's still gyms that live and die by the 6-week challenge. The problem with a lot of those is you're being introduced to a marketing concept by an agency, but then the delivery of what you are as a business has to change in order to match that marketing play. 6-week challenge we don't believe in a 6-week challenge. We don't cater to a weight loss client. So it's not something that we personally align with. It's not something that's going into our business. Gym owners find themselves in a place of scarcity and desperation to where, those promises and exaggerated guarantees and all the things that we're all hit with every day in ads sounds enticing because it's the promise of 200 members this month or 300 guaranteed members. Guys, we've been in this game long enough. There's not a business I know that can put 300 members in your business and keep them there. You have to think about the other half of it is, can your business even take on that
Hmm.
level of new demand without failing other areas? And this is where the difference between growth and scale come in. I want to set your business up with true scaling opportunities so that for every lead that comes into your business, you can do a consultation, you can convert that client, you can service that client, you have the capacity and bandwidth to do all of the things downhill, not just worry about where that next person's coming from. Because again, the weight of it needs to be on the retention, it needs to be on the delivering a great superior product. There's no strategic advantage of being the second most expensive in your marketplace, right? So either you believe and you do bring the best of what you have, or you know that there's opportunity in your business for you to do better. So,
So with market set, I mean,
yep.
you look at this, and I made mention that there's other groups out there kind of pushing this small group
Mhm.
concept, semi-private. Depends on how some of them word a small group.
Somebody needs to write the dictionary for gym owners because
Yeah,
we have 15 different words for. I mean, hell, think about movement patterns.
yeah, I know all the
Tricep
exercises.
extension,
Yeah,
skull crusher, all these.
yeah. So
Uh,
I look at that, and are we just kind of starting with one thing? It's just memberships.
yeah,
And then it
exactly.
was memberships and personal training. And then it was group. And then we sized it back down. Do you feel like what we're doing is we're kind of like funneling everybody into this small group or semi-private personal training situation? And now we're gonna saturate the market. And so now what you'll start seeing is a lot more people are doing that. And with more people doing that, how do you differentiate yourself? And
Great
what
question.
what are the mistakes that owners are going to really start making when that happens?
Yeah, good, very, very good question, and I'm glad you brought that up. One of our founding principles, and this is a lesson that came from Todd Brown initially, is in order to stand out in the marketplace. I mean, if you think about what we deliver from gym to gym to gym,
Mhm.
fitness, nutrition, and accountability are the three things that traditionally gyms present that deliver a result for a client. If I pulled up, let's say I had 10 calls over a week time. If I pulled up 10 of those websites, 8 of them are going to list their services as fitness, nutrition, and accountability.
Mhm.
So right out of the gate, we're positioning ourselves into competition, not out of competition. One of the ways, and this is a concept that we teach every one of our coaching clients, is to install what we call unique mechanisms. Fitness in your business or in one of your listeners' gyms, regardless of how they do it, is going to be some way it's going to be different than the gym down the street. In some level, the way that they do fitness has something different, right? Whether it be an internal belief on program design, maybe somebody's following tempo. There's all sorts of methodologies that go into it. But if you just say fitness, we have to remember that the marketplace, not from a negative standpoint, but there's almost ignorance in the marketplace, right? If I tell you I provide fitness, all you know is fitness. So if you're pulling up
Mhm.
my website, you're pulling up my competitions, and we both provide the same thing, price is the next thing that they're going to go off of. I want to be premium. I don't want to be the cheapest one out there. We know that deliver a superior product to our competitors. Our price point should absolutely be in alignment with that. But how do you get somebody to pay that? Is going back to unique mechanisms. So instead of saying fitness, nutrition, accountability, look at your system, look at your business, and decide what is it about our fitness that is different, and how can we give that a unique proprietary name so that when somebody comes across that and they see that we provide fitness as one of our services, it's not fitness. It's um, I have a client, Rise Personal Training, right? It's the rise effect, fitness something, right? Or it's some form of methodology, system, program, matrix, but you're giving it something unique that doesn't, because at the end of the day, again, what we're trying to do is not allow the consumer to go, it's the same as this gym. That one's more expensive, so I'm going to go to the cheaper gym. And so unique mechanisms kind of plant their flag in the ground. When you claim it, you own it, and it can't be used by the competition in the same manner, right? Perfect example is Orange Theory. Orange Theory came out years ago and they put their flag in the ground with the orange zone.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, it's heart rate training. Every piece of cardio equipment that you've stepped on since like the 70s has had heart rate training built into it. You know, the formula is right there. Like it's not new, it's not unique, but they put a name on it. They claimed it, they owned it, and that's part of the reason they exploded out of the gate was because clients at Orange Theory got results when they trained in the orange zone. It's nothing more than marketing, but at the end of the day, it's a differentiator that will absolutely separate you from the gym down the street. The big benefit is then taking the individual services like fitness, nutrition, accountability. Each of those have proprietary names, but then positioning that as a program that's got an overarching
Mm-hmm.
name and unique mechanism. And so Legacy, where our clients get results because we train with what we call the LIFT method. It's lifestyle integrated fitness training. That acronym goes, we've got that up in the gym. We speak about it on our website, but that's our proprietary way of using the fitness, nutrition, and accountability. Again, those have unique names in our business. The umbrella that's all part of our LIFT program, and we deliver a LIFT program to the marketplace. We don't sell semi-private or small group personal training. You know what I mean?
It's the Gore-Tex of clothing.
Great analogy. Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. And that's another great example of, what is it? It's wet resistant or water wicking, prevention. Yeah. But it's a brand name that they've done. Fat burners used to do it really well. You look at the proprietary blend, right? You pick up a generic brand, you pick up Hydroxycut. You get to that proprietary blend. The generic ones, it literally says proprietary blend, and it's some mixture of these. Big marketing companies, deeper pockets said, oh, well, let's give that a name. So you've got the insane burn matrix or some goofy,
right?
But what it does,
they know they're going to look at the back of the label.
And what it does is it takes that product, that's fat burner, and the consumer then goes, this one must be superior because they have the insane burn matrix that these guys don't. Therefore, it's got to be different. And that's why I had not gotten results with one in the past. And so it's deep down the psychology of the consumer in the marketing realm, but it's really easy to do in our businesses once you kind of grasp the purpose behind it. Most gym owners, they don't have the understanding of the marketing. They don't understand the psychology. And it's okay, right? We don't know what we don't know. But the problem is in a marketplace where competition's never been greater. I mean, Tim's got 25 gyms within 5 miles. If we didn't do something different, it would be very easy to play the competition game, drop our prices, do things like that. But I mean, we don't even give away a single session or a trial. Nobody gets anything in our business for free. And I think every gym should be that same way because we're the only industry in the world. Could you imagine going to a restaurant and being like, hey, I'm going to eat 3 meals at your restaurant. You're not going to try for free. I'm going to try it. And the next week, I'm going to let you know if I want to come back and get more, and I'll pay you for those. It doesn't fly, right? But for some reason, this industry, that was the expectation back then. That's the way things were done. It's not how we have to do things today. There's the self-elimination factor of that too. If you market for free, you're going to get a lot of leads. You're going to get low intent, but you're going to get a lot of leads, a lot of tire kick. And this is a business. The goal is not to service everybody for free. It's to find those that are actually interested and want to move into your memberships. We literally market to our membership. We have a 2-week guarantee for an annual membership. In the first 14 days, if you don't like our services or you don't like our gym for whatever reason, bring it to our attention in person or in writing. We'll rip up the annual. You've paid 2 weeks of $99 training, but that's it. So some of it's the understanding, like that's the stuff that we get to work with on gym owners and understanding, helping them understand and position their mindset in a better place. Like I truly want to help gym owners move from the hobbyist to the true business owner role, and data drives everything. Data is, that's the ultimate decider.
So I look at this, you listed these 5 systems here, and mindset, obvious. You guys have these organized well. because
Thank
it
you.
makes a lot of sense, with how you approach stuff. And, mindset obviously is the first thing because it's a critical piece. If they're not there mentally, it's just not going to work, period. The other four, it's not going to happen.
Correct. Yeah. And that's why we start with it. That has to
Yeah.
be, we have to get your head in. I use the analogy of a ship, right? Your
Hmm.
business is like taking a ship to sea. Before you step foot on that boat, the captain needs to know the skill sets, where he's going, how to use the navigation, how to use the systems and things like that to their advantage. Then we focus on the boat. And the boat is the other systems of the business, right? Your attraction systems, excuse me, not your attraction yet, your conversion systems. You have to be able to put people on the boat. The ascension, the people on the boat. Let's get the value of those people
Hmm.
up. But then we shift focus to attraction, and then we put the people in the boat. But before the boat's ready to hit the water, before we've loaded it with people, we got to tune up the engines. We have to make sure that the systems are tight and that it's seaworthy. And that's what we want to focus on the business. The other way, unfortunately, because it is a tough industry, gym owners typically go from agency to agency or offer to offer, things like that. And it just becomes this rat race of, I need a new marketing play to cover
Right.
my rent, to cover my base operating expenses, to
Yeah.
cover this month. So they're always selling from the hole. And, if we look at a lot of gyms today, they're more a marketing and sales business than they are a gym. Where
Mhm.
their focus and attention is always about where that next lead is coming from and selling that person. And unfortunately, a lot of it's like high ticket or just flash in the pan type revenue. Parkinson's law tells me that, those expenses, that revenue that you generated is gone long before you're done servicing that client. And
Yeah.
so next month you're selling from a hole again. So our primary belief is to get your base operating covered by your monthly recurring. That's goal one. If we're not there yet, that's our first goal. And when that takes place, clarity sets in. I mean, think of it, as you listening as a gym owner, if without me making one more sale this month, my bills are paid, the lights stay on, my people get my coaches get paid, everything's fine. Worst case scenario, next month I work on growth, right? Or additional revenue. But you can't be in a position where you're desperate for that sale or you're grasping at straws today for today's sale because we got to pay the bills. Let's get past that point, and that's where that's where I would recommend, eventually getting to a point where it's like, okay, maybe a high ticket program does make sense so that I could get 10% more, not
Mhm.
rely on that to be the everyday feast or famine type mentality.
The fear that I shouldn't say fear, but I think the frustration actually that I have with a lot of gym owners is that a lot of them have this mindset that they have the ability to multitask, and I don't believe multitasking is a real thing,
I
uh,
agree.
because they're always following something new, and so they never complete anything either fully, or if they do complete it fully, it's not to its best ability, right? So they
Mm-hmm.
didn't really put 110% into that one thing, and they're over here doing several other things that are just kind of like what I call C grade students, right? Maybe they're if you're taking all these classes and you're overloaded, you're not going to get A's in all of them. So
Absolutely, it's the jack of all trades, master of none, right?
yeah, and they I hear this a lot. I wear multiple hats, right? They say this to me. So, when you're talking about this, how do you pull a gym owner out of that mindset? Because they've been earning the same thing year over year for 13 years. They haven't been able to kind of get past that hump. They're on this roller coaster where they're jumping from one agency to the next. They're looking for the next play. And you hear from other groups. Okay, I know you guys aren't an agency, but you hear from other coaches too
Mm-hmm.
that they've got this solution. So what I want to do, because you don't hear it a lot, is like the dark side of this, right? You guys are a business, and in your business, you've heard from other gym owners, and some of those you've gone in to try and help, and some of them it's been a flop, right?
Sure,
So I
absolutely.
have to imagine that there's got to be at
Oh
least
yeah,
one. I mean, if you guys
yeah.
are 100%, then it's hard to believe it's even true. But there's got to be some percentage of gym owners who come in and they pay for the service, they pay for the coaching. Whether they execute on it or not, that's a different story. But that's the dark side of it, both for your business and for the gym
And
owners
yeah.
who are struggling, right? So, and not a lot of people talk about it. They want to post on Instagram all their happy
Oh,
thoughts and
everyone.
happy
Yep. The
moments.
success stories, the highlight
Yeah.
reel. Yeah.
So tell me a thing that typically would not be a testimonial, right?
Yeah.
But I
No,
mean, it's
I love it. Full transparency on that for sure. Um, there is a insane commonality to the level of success of the gym owner that equates to the level of success of their clients. If I sell something and my clients aren't
mm,
showing up on Monday, if I'm the gym owner who's bitching and moaning, excuse my language, that my clients aren't coming in, my people aren't coming in, and then you turn around and you invest in a program and you don't show up, that's on you.
mhm,
So there is a portion of them, of gym owners or people that take that. Yes, they're in love with the idea, the romantic idea of success. They're the oh, everybody wants that, but are they willing to do what it actually takes? Real difficult part is right now. One of our programs switches semi, converting your gym to a semi-private gym or being able to deliver semi-private. It might require some change to your floor, to your equipment, to your layout. Well, that costs money and it's a difficult choice. But if what you're saying is, I want the results of what's happening right here, and you're not willing to do what it takes to get those results, the program's not for you.
mhm.
So I would say some of the dark stuff. Yeah, we've definitely had gym owners that have come in the program, and not seeing, not for example, I mean, we've got gym owners that have worked with us come in at the 15 to 20,000 per month mark, within 6 months to a year are doing 40, 50, 60 in consistent recurring revenue. We do it because we
And that's
strip away.
the majority
Yeah,
of your,
correct. I mean,
yeah.
that's the base of what we're able to provide. One of the big identifiers of that level of success, though, is the model and understanding what the business is capable of actually generating. So we look at a business, we've got tools that we use in our programs where we lay out your schedule, we lay out your coaching team and their price points, or excuse me, their pay points. We lay out your serviceable sessions per week type of. I mean, we know the math that your business can create for you. And if it's not where you want it to be, then it's not a matter of throw more people through the front door. It's a matter of what do I have to change to give me the opportunity for that level of success. So I would say the gyms that don't get there, more often than not, it is the driver in the seat. The systems are the systems. Math doesn't lie, right? When we've created these programs, though Tim and I have an internal, you were at our growth summit, you heard us talk about this is the
Yeah.
way. This is the way is kind of our flag that we've planted that says, we're going to help you create a semi-private training gym with scalable systems. When I say that, we've got automation to handle lead and client nurture. Client nurture also, not just leads, right? And that's where a lot of others stop. We're nurturing. We've got a 5-year automated email campaign that goes out to our clients for long-term nurture, just bubbling them up, giving them value. When it comes to programming, we've got Semi-Private Pro, which is a proprietary app we created for our own delivery. And maybe that would be a good segment to kind of dive into some of the nomenclature differences
Hmm.
on the training types. But we do individualized programming in a shared cost environment. So each of our clients have a unique workout, but they're sharing. We do 1 to 6, so they're sharing that time with 5 others of that trainer. But those are systems that we build. We don't just say, hey, you need programming in your gym, go figure that out. And then you, the owner, has now got that on their plate and it's more work. The goal is to reduce the workload for you as the owner, build a staff structure and a team of people around you, and then install the systems. And the systems run the business, the people run the systems. It pretty much equates to that. But when we create a consistent, when we're confident that the delivery of the program is there, that goes deep. That means everything from your price points, your contracts, everything that it takes in order to be able to deliver on that service. You've got automation to help with the lead flow, because in this industry, if somebody's opting in on your website, they're opting in on your competitions. The first gym to reach out gets that lead 90% of the time. If you
The
don't
ones that
have
I
some,
love are when I ask people, do you have a contact list? And then they go, yeah, on my phone.
yeah, oh,
You
I know,
know,
man. And again, and I hate to say it, but at the end of the day, there are a ton of gym owners that are hobbyists, and it's not a bad thing. But if you want this to treat you or pay you like a business, you better treat it like one. And if you aren't investing or putting yourselves in the positions to fill the gaps in your skill set, your understanding, the conversation that we're having today, I'm sure your listeners aren't those types of people, right? They've sought out something like your show, something like our podcast, where we're giving value, we're helping educate and teach. If you're not constantly reinventing yourself or changing, kind of filling your holes in your level of competency, understanding, knowledge, you're leaving a lot of money and opportunity on the table. It's got to be a consistent progression towards where you want things to be.
So tell me about semi-private and small group. You said six.
Yeah.
Six is that cap. So there's two things. I'm rehearsing information that I heard from Rick, and I think he does six, but he doesn't do unlimited.
Correct.
And then I heard from, who was it? Someone else. 4 was the top.
That was our boy Thomas Plummer.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
remember? He's got a very, very loud voice. That 4-1 is the limit on semi-private. Thomas, both of those are great gentlemen. I mean, I spent.
No, they're both awesome, and they both operate very well.
Yeah.
And Thomas has a ton of industry knowledge.
Yep.
One of the top guys in the industry. Same with Rick on his franchise brand. But there's a variation. So when people are listening to these things, you can get paralyzed by so much information that you just don't do anything.
Absolutely. So, I mean, let me just let's define kind of the difference in our eyes of semi-private to small group, for example. Small group in our eyes would be a group training format, usually a collective workout like a WOD, body weight type exercises, maybe band work or things like that, but not true strength training. We're not using barbells and racks. We're not using, traditional. We're not following necessarily forethought programming, where it's more like, whatever the coach came up today, either hot, sweaty bodies in a room or, we're just kind of just moving. But the benefit of small group would be over large group, where you're getting a little bit more individualized attention. The workout is the same as a large group type setting, but it's less bodies for that coach to coach, right? So a little bit of a premium, a little bit of an increased price over what a group training could offer or could sell for. Now, semi-private in our business, because we're doing individualized programming, I could have TJ, young athlete in his 20s, doing a traditional bench press on this rack. And globally, our movement patterns are the same. So let's say Monday we're doing performance A. We're doing a horizontal push movement. So traditional bench press is within that movement pattern. But Mrs. Johnson's in the same session with him next to him, and she's 65, and she can't do a barbell press with the bar. So rather than her doing that with little pink dumbbells or, just scaling the weight
press or something,
what we do is she's doing an incline press against a barbell. Same movement pattern and benefit to the client's area, but yet scaled in a way that it's beyond just reps and sets and weight. It's an actual change in the movement, or workout, I should say, so that the clients think and feel that it's entirely different, but we know that they're getting the same benefit. It's just scaled to their unique abilities. So in our business, our coaches have no hand in our program. It's all top down, which to us is a must for businesses, because if you this is your business and your brand and your program, you're delivering that. The brand needs to own the programming. The coaches need to support that brand, that system. So our coach's job is progressions and regressions of the client. Our system then swaps out those workouts on the fly, instantaneous, so that our coaches aren't responsible for modifying programming. They're modifying client data.
That's
now 6-1. The difference between, like, I can understand Thomas's belief with 4-1, and he uses the analogy of fine dining. You walk into a fine dining restaurant and it's set for 4. We ran that way for a while. We increased to 5, and we're now up to 6. in our business, I mean, to me, it's one of those things that's like, I don't think Thomas is wrong, but I don't think we're wrong either. It's just, can it be done? I wouldn't go past 6. I haven't seen gyms successfully go past 6 just because, we are doing traditional strength training. So
It's hard. It's hard. Yeah, it's not intimate enough, and it's probably also hard for the coach to.
coaching, yeah,
Yeah,
queuing and safety and
yeah.
things like that. So there is a point of no return type of thing or fall off, but we've been able to successfully do that up to 6. And I mean, the results for me are consistency, retention, our clients' results. I mean, we've got 9 clients. Tim he shared a slide at the Grow Summit. There's 9 clients that have been with us, some since his grand opening in 2009. But the revenue generated from those 9 clients alone is over $500,000.
Yeah.
That should be our goal for our businesses, right? We shouldn't be competing for the 199 unlimited trainings anymore. It's time to deliver a more superior product. Rick actually was on our podcast. I mean, this goes back probably 2 years ago, but when he was talking about the Alloy model and in alignment with kind of the semi-private deliverable, he said, we got to skate to where the puck is going, not to where it's at, right? The old Wayne Gretzky quote, or Michael Scott, if you're an Office fan. But but it makes sense, right? And if you look at micro and macro trends in the fitness industry, semi-private training is strength training. We're not reinventing the wheel. We're not doing something that's revolutionary. We're delivering it in a way that's systemized, scalable. Our clients get continued results. They end up staying with us for a long period of time, and they're willing to pay a premium for the service that we're providing. That should be every business's goal.
One last question here, because I know we're a little over the pricing here.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you said 199. I know that what you meant was 199 a month, unlimited.
Correct. Sorry. Yeah.
What you guys are doing is 99 a week,
Mm-hmm.
but that 99 a week, translates to 436 or something like that per month. When you're looking at those numbers, some people might go, well, I sell one-on-one personal training.
Yeah.
And my average one-on-one training is like 430 or 450, because you're doing 2.5 sessions a week. And typically, even in semi-privates, you're still going to have people, whether it's unlimited or not, they're still going to show up 2.5 times.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just looking at the numbers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We have the empirical data on all that. Yep.
Yeah.
And we've talked about that with Rick, and that's the reason, so great question. So that's where I would go back to scale. If you think about other businesses, there's both of it, right? Like, yes, a one-on-one client paying you for X is great, right? Like, call it $100 a session. My semi-private equates to, we broke it down like a 3 time per week. I mean, it's 30 something dollars or something per client. But I've got 6 people training with me at that same hour, and I'm paying one coach a flat salary or hourly pay. So I've controlled my expense and I've maximized my income per hour of deliverable, not one client.
Do you offer both? Do you offer both one-on-one and no? So it's one or the other.
Because at the end of the day, if I put it on paper and I put my schedule on paper, for my business to offer one-on-one for a client, that one client would have to pay the equivalent or greater than 6 people paying a fraction of that for the business to make the same revenue. Mm-hmm. Now, talk about scalability. If I've got 6 clients I could train in 1 hour for about 50%, in some situations, about 50% of what one semi-private is, my business is making exponentially more money per hour of deliverable for the same, for X expense. Scale doesn't happen with one-on-one. Now, I could have one trainer take 12 sessions per day. I could do that. I could pay that same trainer to take 2 semi-private sessions, and I've made exponentially more money per hour of business than I can in a one-on-one setting. And so gym owners, I think, get stuck on the idea that one-on-one is this big, massive value. Well, it is per one client, but then you're in the business 12 hours a day serving 12 people. Mm-hmm. We have unlimited semi-private. We have unlimited training. We start at 5 a.m. every day, and we go to 7 p.m. every day. Every hour on the hour, we've got 2 coaches on the floor. I've got 12 people that I'm servicing every single hour, with the exception of noon to 2. And so how, like, think of like a Starbucks. Like we're not capped as far as who we could
Mm.
serve. In Tim's gym, I mean, even with our cap where we're comfortable would be about 220 clients. We're probably about 195, 200 right now. There's 80% utilization. So even at the 220 mark, I know that I still have open slots that I can still continue to grow and add. So you can actually oversell and still excuse me, still service at a full rate, full capacity without ever actually truly hitting capacity.
How many square
Um,
feet is the
Tim's in
gym?
about 8,000 right now. But
Okay.
here's a cool thing. We did that remodel the end of 22. We kicked it open. By the way, don't do massive change for your business leading to January. Everybody's rethinking their fitness come January, right? So you shake the ship up while you're doing, while they have that top of mind, expect greater loss than any other time of year. But when we did that remodel, Tim has a background in construction. He actually went to school for construction management. So rather than us close the doors and redo the whole gym, what we did is we put up a partition wall. We did half of the gym while we trained on the full other half, and then we swapped. So we kept 100% of our services or our sessions
Hmm.
and schedule throughout the entire remodel, which equates to us understanding we could absolutely service the same number of clients in half the footprint. We just happen to be in 8,000. So if we were to do a second location, it would definitely be at a smaller footprint. Again, for the cost for maximizing revenue per
Yeah.
at the expense level. And so hyper intentional about numbers, hyper aware of where the money's coming from, where it's going. Even the fact that every one of our trainers is a fixed expense because there's a million ways to do that. You've got one-on-one situation, quite often the trainer is walking away with the majority of the revenue for that session. The gym's getting the scraps. Or group training where it's scaled based on the number of head. Well, you've got a moving expense all of the time, or sometimes scaled so that when the business benefits, the team members benefit equivalent, but there's no gain for the business. So it just
Yeah.
becomes this like you're not actually earning more money servicing more people quite often. So the goal is to have a higher value anchor point with your services, create a deliverable that people are talking about. This is the place that people want to train, and it's okay to be the most expensive in the marketplace. It's okay to have a price point that demands some attention. We're not a facility for everybody, but for those that are in alignment with us, let's lock arms and run hard. And
Final thing.
yep.
We talked earlier and we didn't get to mention it, but you have a setup for the way that you guys trial people. I
Correct.
know you charge them for this, but there's trials to get them in, to get
Hmm.
them started. And those trials seem to be like super effective for you guys. And this is what you coach on. So
Yeah,
can you run
the
through
goal
those
there.
trials?
I don't have the five listed in front of me, but I can give you a couple. I mean, a snapshot of at least some of those. In our business, we do the 2-week guarantee I mentioned. There's also and again, from gym to gym, the reason that we have a few of them is so that you find what's working for you and what's right for you.
Mhm.
But you've got traditional, free, try us before you buy, right? Then you've got what we call the Netflix guarantee. Maybe it's 7 days for free. Again, this isn't one that we use in our business, but this is another way that other gyms have seen success. You've got a week for free, but then it rolls into your membership at the end of it. And in order to get that week for free, we decide at the consultation, you put your card down on file and it's going to auto roll into that program, right? So the goal here it's to sift through and kind of self eliminate those tire kickers to the best of our ability without actually giving away our services and reducing the value.
Mhm.
It's a big struggle for gym owners to especially when we have whether it be one-on-one, whether it be semi, when you've got a training program that does have a respectable value around it, how are we bringing somebody in for free, giving away our services, and then saying, oh, I'm able to give it to you today, but tomorrow I'm going to expect you to pay X for it,
Right. And
right?
what does that say to all the other members that are there? Right when
Right.
they see your ads. Yeah.
Yeah, so much of it, man. I mean, I use the analogy of like direct TV all the time. Like there's so many front end loaded training programs in our gyms where we give them all the bells and whistles and then they sign up for a membership and it's like we strip away all those things and you get the base membership and
Right.
it's like
Yeah.
it reminds me of direct TV, right? You get the
Yeah.
NFL package, you get Cinemax and HBO and all that for 3 months and then that goes away. You pay
Yeah.
twice as much and you have none of that benefit. That's
Yeah.
backwards for business, right? We have to take care of the people who are in our businesses that are staying with us. It should be the other way around, right? The person who comes up with that program where they have like a diminishing membership rate the longer you stay probably is going to be the corner of the market here soon. That would be interesting.
Yeah. That
When
would
I,
be it. That's a new one to think about.
I
We need you guys.
it just kind of came to me as I was talking
Yeah.
about it. I was like, man, that would be a interesting concept, right? The longer you're with us, the less you pay. But
Well, I had for my brand of gyms in Chicago. I think you were up in that market.
yeah, that's why
Um,
I grew up in the suburbs.
so I had a gym called Eco Gym, and it was the more you work out, the less you pay.
Yeah,
So it was that was our tagline, but there wasn't a diminishing. So every month it was always paying arrears. Like if you like your electric bill, right? So the more you visited, the less you paid. But if you didn't visit at all, you paid a shit ton.
yeah,
And then when people would come in to cancel, it was always a fun conversation because it was just like, well, how many times did you come this month? Oh, looks here like 0.
yeah.
Why I need to cancel? Well, just come more often.
Yeah.
It'll be less expensive.
Oh yeah, it's great. I mean, we've been at this. Tim opened his gym in 2009. I was a good friend of him at the time. I started training at his gym 3 months after he opened the doors. The business that it is today was not how he started the business, and I've seen like the whole, all the changes that we've made along the way. But at the end of the day, what we work on now is simplicity. We've got one membership level, unlimited. We've stripped away. We used to do 2 times, 3 times on unlimited. We figured out our bandwidth and our capacity and all the numbers. We said, you know what? It doesn't hurt us. Here's a fun fact: our clients that were paying for 3 times a week actually use more sessions than unlimited clients.
Wow.
Interesting. But Rick actually, he's got data on that as well. And I look at the psychology of it. I've had unlimited data plan on my phone since forever.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not because it's not because I'm using my phone to
Right.
those. But God forbid I ever got a text message or an email that said, "Hey, you're going to pay an overage." No, I'm going to pay for convenience today to never see that email and
Mm-hmm.
probably overpay. But for the consumer, it's probably similar, right? It's like I know it's there. I have the option, but I'm not stressed about getting in and utilizing I'm not nickel and diming my thought process around training. But from there, I mean, we've stripped down. Now we have 2 options. It's an annual or it's a month to month. Month to month is a premium. You pay a initiation fee of $500, and you reserve the right to leave. Well, actually, it's week to week. So you have a 7-day cancellation policy. You can leave at any time. But at this point, there's phases of business ownership. At this point, it's not trying to figure out how to get more people through the door. It's not trying to figure out how to, create something different in our training and our programming. It's how do we simplify and how do we, structure the business so that it benefits the client. The business gets what it needs. Our coaches love and enjoy what they do. Even down to our scheduling. There's gyms that are doing split shifts. They expect their trainer there in the morning because that's when people are there, and then midday there's nobody, and then they come in and they work the evening. Is that sustainable for an employee? I want my people to have a lifestyle. So we've got a morning crew and an evening crew. They work their shift. They're done for the day. We've got overlap in those 2 hours that we don't train. So we do team meetings. Our team is a podcast. All of the ancillary stuff gets done. But it's about working smarter. It's very much become work smarter, not harder. And the deeper that we get in the weeds, it's amazing how we just strip away instead of throwing all that stuff on the plate, right? Another
That's
service,
what
another
happens.
program.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody equates more to being better. More is more, right? And so sometimes it's simplicity that actually leads to the win, not just putting more on your plate. Putting more. Gym owners don't equate the value of their time at all. Um, Internally, I mean, I just saw it last week. There's a gym owner I've known for probably 10 years, and he was on Facebook bragging about changing and repairing equipment himself.
Yeah.
I'm like, it was probably a $150 service call, but you just spent 3 hours of your
Yeah.
own personal time
That's the
doing
multitasking.
that. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Right. But what is your, we say it on our podcast all the time. I want you as a gym owner thinking about the value of 1 hour of your time at the same level of rate and pay of a doctor, an attorney, and equivalent high demand, because that's the work that can go into your business. That is what your time is worth when you're working on the business, not in it.
Hmm.
You can enjoy what you do, you can love being on the training floor, but it is probably one of the worst exchanges of your time as a business owner to do it. So when that mindset shift takes place, when you take yourself out of it has to happen through me, and it becomes a system and a team belief, everything opens up, everything changes, right? We don't have the bandwidth to do it all ourselves, and at some point you have to get out of the way, and it becomes a who, not a how. And the
I
gym
love it,
owners that
Randy.
really succeed are the ones that embrace that. um, Mike McAllowitz was one of our contributors for our Iron Circle, our mastermind. He runs Profit First. The first thing he led with when he spoke to our group was, as a business owner, your job is job creation, not fulfillment. And if gym owners started thinking about everything, all the changes, what has to happen in their gym, if they started thinking about it that way, instead of how do I go do that, the entire way that they operate their business changes. And that's why we're here, because my personal mission is to get gym owners into a true business owner role. I'm the son of a self-employed business owner. And, I remember my dad, who owned the business, right? Oh, it's so great. You're the business owner. He was on the job Saturday mornings, not in the stands with my baseball games.
Yeah.
And it broke, in hindsight, I do not want to see other business owners have to do that. Gym owners are traditionally handcuffed to their business. They're handcuffed by their clients. And the my clients won't mentality is keeping them exactly where they're at.
Yeah.
And
In their
so,
mind, they think they're leaving the 9 to 5 to leave the 9 to 5 and have a better quality of life. And what they're
that's,
doing is they're leaving the 9 to 5 to get more hours, work
yeah.
more and wear more hats and do more
And the
things.
stress and the,
Yeah.
the responsibility. Now you're worried about all of your employees, and they're
And making
making,
less usually.
and the majority of gym owners I speak with, from the opportunity to work with our coaching program, I would say the majority of them have full-time jobs supplementing the income that their gyms are not
Mhm.
making.
Yep.
And that's not okay. I mean, you bought yourself a job, a very expensive job, and it's not paying you a dividend. I've worked with gym owners that in the first 3 weeks of us working together decided it's time to close the gym.
Hmm.
And it's not a bad thing. Like, at some point you have to decide what is right for you. Am I in the right vehicle? Is this the right model? But when you take it serious and you look at it like a true opportunity to create the wealth and the lifestyle and all of the things that being a business owner should provide for you, when that becomes a priority and you follow a plan to get there, everything changes. But
I
that's where it
love it,
all
Randy.
starts. It has to start there.
And, for those listening, you're going to go through these 5 systems. If you guys
Mhm.
work with Randy and Tim, it's mindset, delivery, ascension, conversion, and attraction. You're going to go through those 5 systems. But before you even get to that, you can download for free the 5 trial styles that Randy and I were talking about. And those are things just to kind of give some interest and not charge or not give things away for free, but rather charge for your services because they're of value. So
Absolutely.
download that. It's going to be in the show notes. And Randy, what an honor, man. I was always looking forward to this because we've been
Same.
going back and forth on
Yeah.
messages. And
Yeah.
I'm glad you were able to peel away for a little bit and have this meeting.
Same.
So
No, I appreciate it. We'll try to get you, maybe one of these days we'll get you on our show, and
I love it.
we'll return the favor over there.
Love it. And for everybody else listening, thanks for listening to the show. Always, subscribe to the show, share. My kids always say sharing is caring. You should hear them say it. They say it all the time. So, share it out with others, especially those who you feel might need to listen to this, and help them win in their gym. See you guys on the flip side.